Carbometric, are you ready? It's time for your adventure, my friend. That's right. Sit back, relax, warm up your dice roller. Let's go over a couple ground rules here. Folks, I don't mind you guys chatting or throwing out ideas, but this is Carbometric's adventure, so Carbometric is going to be the one making all the decisions. I would request that no one use the dice roller except for Carbometric right now. That just keeps it nice and clean, so that I can make sure that I can watch Carbometric as Carbometric rolls the dice, and I can catch those cleanly. So I ask that everybody lay off the dice rollers except for Carbometric. Carbometric, you know how to use all the dice rollers, right? I know you do. Are you ready, Carbon? There's going to be a bit of a delay, so this is going to be a bit of a slow thing, but we will we will make it happen. There you go, Carbometric. That is quite good. All right. All right. I'm going to grab my notes, which I have here. So here's how this is going to work, everybody. Hey there, Squeezebox. You got here just in time for me to be doing an in-chat adventure. So here's how this works. I will narrate the adventure. Carbometric, you're going to get to make all the choices. If you somehow manage to make it through the entirety of this dungeon in one run, you will win the map that I drew for this dungeon. I'll mail it to you. I'll put it in a box, I'll put it in an envelope, and I'll mail it to you. So, somebody will eventually get this map. But I do warn you, this dungeon is very dangerous. It is very unforgiving. There's a decent chance you might die very early. So, I suggest you be careful, make your choices carefully. This is roughly following Pathfinder playtest-ish rules, so I'm not going to worry too much about the mechanics. It's mostly just for fun. So, that's where we're at. So, ready? Carbometric, before we get started, we need to determine what your character is. So first, Carbometric, I need you to pick your ancestry. You can be a human, a dwarf, an elf, or a goblin. Your choice. You must choose between a human, dwarf, elf, or goblins. Carbometric, what would you like to be playing? Dwarf, very good. Hardy, stout. Next up, I need you to pick a background. What did you do before you were an adventurer? Were you a barkeep, a street urchin, a merchant, or an acolyte? Someone faithful to the gods. Maybe you were a barkeep slinging beers and ales before taking off to be an adventurer. Perhaps you were a street urchin. You had no home. You just wandered from place to place. Maybe you were a merchant, selling goods, selling wares, until eventually you had enough money and you were like, you know what? There must be a better way. An acolyte. Very good. Alright, so you were an acolyte. You're a dwarven acolyte. You spent your early days worshipping and venerating Aurori, trying to find perfection, trying to find that perfect self. Alright, next up, we need to find out what class you are playing. You get to be either a cleric, a fighter, a rogue, or a wizard. We're keeping it simple. Nothing but the basics. So, thank you, Nightbot. No spoilers. I do also want to say, though, for those of you watching, you may want to take notes. This dungeon will be the same dungeon until someone beats it. So there will be secrets to be learned. There will be pitfalls to be uncovered. If you remember the first time, there was some danger very early on. So, you know, we'll see how this goes. All right. You are playing a dwarven cleric of Aurori, who grew up being an acolyte of Aurori. You just stayed with the faith. You knew what you wanted to be, and you did it. All right. Last but not least, you get standard adventuring gear. So in this case, you're a dwarven cleric. I'm assuming you have some sort of warhammer, or you've got armor. You've got a couple cleric spells, a number of heals. You have a bless. You've got detect magic. You know, common stuff. If you decide to cast a spell during the game, we'll make the call as to whether or not you have it. We're not going to spell out every aspect of your character, every skill you might have. We'll use common sense. All right. Now, so you got ordinary gear, but you have one special piece of gear. And you can choose between one of 4 things. There is a potion that you found, on a body in the middle of the wilderness. You have no idea what it does. There's a bent key. Same body. This body had 4 things on it. You can take one of them. There is a rather pretty flower. Or there is a pair of fuzzy blue slippers. Your choice. Potion, bent key, flower, fuzzy blue slippers. Your choice. You get to pick one of those. Yeah, they're all very heavy. That's why you can only carry one. The flower. All right. So you pick up the flower. It's a beautiful, beautiful flower. And you are... pick the one that makes you win. Good luck on that front. All right. So... you woke up this morning to find one of the town's guard had knocked on the door to the cell that you live in the Temple to Aurori in Embertown. The Baron wanted to see you. It was important, critical that he speak to you. He has an important quest. Of course, you would never dare refuse the command of your Baron, so you went to the Great Hall to speak with Baron Talymir. Baron Talymir, sitting up on his throne with his giant antlered helm, looked at you and said, "What's your name?" "I need to know what your name is, Carbon Metric." You put on your best mustache beats. That's a good start, yeah. Waiting for Carbon Metric to give me a name to work with here. Dipp Glomp. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put down Dipp Glomp in my registry of heroes. That's you, Carbon Metric. Dipp Glomp. I'm going to write down your details here too. Dwarf, Acolyte, Cleric, Flower. Alright. Dipp. He says, "Dipp, I've heard of your training, and it has come to my attention that you have recently completed your training, and I have an urgent matter that needs to be attended to. I have lost a rather precious ring. It was a valuable thing I recovered on my first adventure, right before I didn't touch a golden dinner plate. And this ring is very valuable to me, but in my youth, I accidentally left it in a dungeon that I ventured into. The place seemed very dangerous, and I ran from it. This was before I was brave and a powerful baron. I was but a young adventurer, and the place filled me with such an overwhelming dread that I had to leave, and I realized that I had left the ring behind. Dipp, can you return there and get the ring for me? It is a simple task. I don't honestly know what's in the dungeon. It could be anything. But if you could retrieve this ring for me, I would be eternally grateful." And he provided you a map that leads out into the wilderness to a dungeon. He said, "Venture inside. It should just be right in the first room. You can't miss it. There was a large throne there and a long dead body, and it filled me with such terror that I had to leave. So, yes, I think it is a simple task. And you are a new acolyte of Aurori. Perfection is what you do. So I expect this will be perfectly easy, and you will go take care of it. It will not be a problem." "Ah, I am glad to hear it, Dipp. Venture forth immediately. I shall supply you with a horse to get you there swiftly, and plenty of trail iron rations so that you might be fed on your journey. Please go, fetch it, and retrieve it for me. Thank you." Squeezebox. That may very well be the case. All right. It was, yes, it was so scary that I have to now send a level 1 adventurer. I wasn't a level 1 adventurer yet. I was still just an ancestry and a background. I hadn't picked a class yet. So that's why I had to leave. "No, there will not be ponies. Well, if you want a pony, I suppose I can requisition you a pony, but it will take an extra day. I have to send someone to go get a pony. We have a horse. Would you like a horse? Or are you demanding a pony? You can tell the Baron's getting irritated with you. He's a busy man. He has to go and wander the countryside. He's got a hilltop that's making noise. Yeah, he's too busy to go get this ring himself. So he needs to send you. Onto a horse. Very good. All right, Carbon. You mount the noble steed and you make your way out into the hinterlands to find this dungeon. The map he gave you was crude, but relatively straightforward. It told you to follow the branch of the Little Selin, and to take that up to a large grove of trees, and when you hit the one that's lightning split, if you take a left, there should be a path there that leads straight off into the wilderness, and in that wilderness, at the end of that path, is the entrance to a dungeon. So, Carbon. By the way, this is the map that you win. if you can solve this particular dungeon. So, Carbon, you approach the dungeon carefully. Making your way up, you are able to tie off the horse on a tree nearby, because there's no way you could take it into the dungeon. That'd be far too dangerous. So, up ahead, you see this crumbling hillside. It looks like the stones here are very old. And it looks like, in fact, there might have at one time been some sort of building or shrine built into the side of this, but it looks like an earthquake or just age has eroded that away, and it looks like all the rocks and pieces have tumbled down and have fallen into kind of total disrepair. But you can see clearly a passageway leading off into darkness that looks like it has finished cobblestone walls. And standing next to that in an alcove is a statue. It looks like a noble warrior. It's holding a sword between its hands, but you can't make out any of the details of its face. Those are all just kind of washed and worn away. It looks like it maybe one time had a nose and cheekbones and stuff, but like rocks or rain or something has just kind of worn it all smooth, and now it's just kind of a head that is just sitting there with this blade in its hand. Beyond, you see a passageway leading down into the earth, into darkness. What do you do, Carbon Metric? What does Dipp do? Dipp Glomp. No spoilers looking at rooms you aren't at yet, by the way. Detect Dagic. Well, you look through your repertoire of cantrips, and you do have a thing called Detect Dagic. How convenient. It also detects magic, but if there's a Dagic around, it'll tell you about that as well. So, you focus your mind and conjure forth the sight that Aurori has blessed you with that allows you to see magical auras, to give you an understanding if there is magic nearby. And you use this, and the sight comes to you, and you look around, and you don't see anything that's magical at all. Nothing at all. Dagic is what kobolds call magic. That is true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, it's specifically dragon magic, so they call it Dagic. It's kobolds, right? What you gonna do? All right, so there is the dungeon up ahead of you, in front of you. There is a passageway going off into darkness. What do you do, Carbon Metric? You do not sense any magic. All right. So, gathering yourself together, steeling yourself against the darkness, you march up to the passageway, and once you are inside, like literally once you've kind of entered this area here, you are now underground, right? There is stone on top of you. The cobbles in here look ancient and worn. Yet there's a lot of dirt and debris here, as if wind has blown leaves and other detritus in here, and it's just left to rot. It doesn't look like anyone's been in here, you would say, at least in a couple of weeks. It looks like someone came this way, maybe a few weeks ago. And you can also see footprints going back out. So, they apparently went in and then went back out. So, you don't know what's up with that. But up ahead, there is a stairway going down. You can clearly make out a staircase that drops at least about 10 feet down into the gloom. It's also very dark. Now, you are a dwarf, so you have dark vision. So, you are able to see. You don't need to light a torch if you don't want to. But you can make out kind of a deep hallway and a staircase going down. I'm assuming you're going to go down? I mean, there's really no other way to go. You kick a stone down the hallway first. All right, very good. There's plenty of stones and leaves and whatnot on the ground. So just with the heel of your boot, you kick one down the staircase. It kind of clatters and rattles as it makes its way down the stairs. And you can see it land kind of down here at the base. Yeah, nothing explodes. There's no shrieking. There's no screaming or anything like that. The stone just clatters down there. You hear it echo off the stone walls for a little bit, but then it fades away and is gone. Okay, so you advance down the stairs. So you carefully make your way down, and you find that the passageway goes for about 20 feet and then turns to the right. You can tell that this passageway is very old, very dusty. You can see the spot where it looks like someone walked into the room and they went a certain distance. There's a bit of a scuffle, and then they turn around and leave. They basically just ventured a little bit in here, and it's clear that they just turned around and left. So what would you like to do, Carbometric? You can see up ahead, by the way, it looks like there's a big cobweb in the corner here. Other than that, the corridor just kind of turns to the right. Yeah, when you were in Emberton, there was a head on a spike from someone who displeased the Baron a couple weeks back. It's probably unrelated. So the question, Carbon, is what do you do now? It's dangerous down here. Never know what's going to happen. This is the point in time where I would ask a question like, are you sure you want to split the party? You advance boldly forward. Why wouldn't you? You're a cleric. You're a student of Aurori. And you clearly didn't remember the previous stream. So, Morningstar. Alright, yeah, not Morningstar. Yeah, no, I figured. Alright, so you advance down the hallway and you reach this point right here, this square right here. And when you enter that square, the floor just opens. And it looks like there's just a yawning pit beneath you, Carbometric, dropping who knows how far down into darkness. I need you to make a reflex saving throw. Now, your bonus for this as a dwarven cleric acolyte is not great. I'm not going to lie to you. It's only a 3. So go ahead and roll me a d20, Carbometric. Rolled a 12. Got a 15. Carbometric, that is not going to be good enough. I'm afraid not. Carbometric, you fall down the pit. Now, fortunately, it's not a terribly deep pit, but it is deep enough so that you do get hurt. And it's just 20 feet deep, which means you take 10 points of damage. So you just fall down to the bottom of the pit. You've taken 10. That hurt quite a bit. You only have like 18 hit points, so you're down to like 8. Keep a note of that. So, Carbometric, you crash with a clatter down in the bottom of the pit. You are now down in the bottom of this pit. You are 20 feet down. That is not good. You are in danger. And you can see up above the doors of the pit are slowly ratcheting shut. They are apparently automatic. So, you're going to take a look around the pit. All right. Carbometric. Dipp takes a look around, deciding to look. Maybe the ring's down here. Maybe this is where Falcon dropped it. But you don't see it. As a matter of fact, the only thing you see down here is a tiny, tiny stone. But if you die, there will be bones down here the next time someone ventures in here. So, you can see the doors ratcheting shut. You probably only have a few rounds before they close. And you're honestly not sure they can be opened from the bottom. So that's a problem. So, what do you do? Yeah, a four is not good. Your perception is not great. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the stone that's down here is the stone that you kicked down here. It was not heavy enough to trigger the pressure plate. An athletics check. You're going to attempt to jump. Oh no! Carbometric. You attempt to jump. You're scrambling at the pit. You're grasping. The stones are slick and wet, and you tried to jump, but all you managed to do was deal yourself. Let me see here. 4 points of damage, Carbometric. As you slam into the wall, you are now down to just 4 hit points remaining. The door is now like half closed. You used 2 actions, or 2 rounds worth of actions now. So you've the door is closing. You only have like 2 more things you can do before it closes, and if it closes, you're pretty sure you can't get out. Yeah, if there were spikes, this would have been bad. All right. So, Carbometric, how are you going to deal with this particular problem? It's the doors are closing. You've got to figure out once more, Carbon. Okay, you're trying to jump for it again. Use the flower. You spend 1 action praying. That's good. You can do that. You can spend 1 action praying. That's fine. Athletics check. Here we go. Come on, Carbon. You got this. A 10. A 10. Well, you're a cleric. You're a dwarf. That helps a little. Being a cleric of Aurori, I would assume you're trained in athletics. That makes sense. A cleric of Aurori would be trained in athletics. So, yeah. We're going to say that makes it. So, you jump and scamper up the wall, but you're not quite out. So, here's the situation. You are, like, half the distance up because you jumped. So, you're closing in on the top. The doors are now nearly closed. There's one of 2 things you think you could probably do in your panic as the door is closing. You could either try and grab hold of the edges and hold both of them. You could try that. and like use them as leverage. That might work, but if they're strong enough, they'll just pinch your fingers and then you'll be stuck hanging there and you'll be totally screwed. Alternatively, you could just say, nope, go for broke and just try and climb right out. Now you can do something else. You want to try and jam the Morningstar in there. Okay, sure. Alright. So you're going to try and jam the Morningstar in there. I'm going to call that an attack roll. Now, you're trained in your Morningstar. You're a cleric of Aurori. You got some strength. I'm going to go ahead and call that about a +6. Let's go with that. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. That's what you got. So, go ahead and roll me an attack roll, Carbometric. A 10! You're very good at rolling a 10. Okay, so this isn't a hard target to hit. It's not like you're trying to hit something complicated. You're just trying to get it up in there. Had you scored a crit, it would have jammed up into the locking mechanism, which would have then just kept the doors open. But, yeah, Nightbot certainly did take assurance. So, You throw the Morning Star up there, and the door kind of closes on the shaft of it, but the head of the Morning Star is now wedged in there. So you've bought yourself a little bit of time, because the door doesn't look like it can close with that in there. But you need to figure out how to get out of here. I'm leaving it up to you. What idea do you got? You are now almost kind of precariously hanging from this, by the way. You are not hanging from it just yet. You've still got a hand on the stone. But you are kind of hanging with your hand up in the air, desperately trying to ratchet this door open to make sure that you can escape. I would say this. If you're willing to sacrifice the Morning Star, you could probably just make an athletics check and climb out. But then you wouldn't have a weapon. Because what you could do is just kind of ratchet the Morning Star to get it to swing open and then grab the edge and pull yourself out. But if you do that, you will lose the Morning Star. Statler97, thank you for the follow. Alright. What do you got for me? He's thinking about it. He's giving it a good thought. Go back to town and get a new Morning Star. Okay. What do you got for me, Carbon Metric? So, just so you know, the statue's sword is stone and attached to the statue. If that description wasn't clear enough. Excuse me. Athletics checks to pull myself up and up the haft and wedge my legs in the gap of the trap. Okay, so you're trying to basically grab on to both hands on the haft and use that to kind of pull yourself up. Okay, that's possible, but you're going to need a pretty good roll. And if you really mess up this roll, you'll probably fall back down in the pit. All right, go ahead. Give me an athletics check. Fingers crossed, everybody. Here we go. I have not. I could go in, but let me just do this. What happens if I do it? Yeah, see, I got an 18, so I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so here's the situation. You have swung out over over the pit. You are hanging from the haft of your Morning Star. You are swinging about wildly, but you didn't manage to pull yourself up. But you didn't fall either. It wasn't a terrible roll, so you didn't fall. It wasn't a great roll, so you didn't get out. You kind of made no progress. But now... Oh, yeah, Carbon, I figured it's just lag. Don't worry about it. Just so everybody knows, this is the sort of thing where I'm reading chat as it's happening, so don't worry about it. I'll fill time. It's fine. So, here's the deal, Carbon Metric. You are now dangling, hanging... You have both hands on the haft of the Morning Star, dangling. You can try that maneuver again, but it's just getting harder now. Your grip is slowly slipping down the haft of the Morning Star. There's no way you can cast a spell in this. If you try to let go, you will plummet immediately. There's no way you won't just fall to the bottom of the pit if you do that. So you can't cast a spell. Yeah, no, like I said, if you were down at the bottom and you tried to do that before you started climbing, that probably would have worked. But, no, there's no way you can do that now. Summon your inner spider dwarf. I like that idea. That's a good idea. Carbonmetric is owning it with these 10s. I'm impressed. I really am. Yeah, if it were verbal only, it'd be fine. But if it was, yeah. Yeah, it's dangerous. Dungeons are dangerous places. Okay. All right. 14. That's pretty good. That gets you a 20. That's what you needed. All right. You managed to do it. You have gotten out. Okay. So you do manage to swing up out of the trap, and it slams shut, and you've managed to make it out of this trap. So you're now right here. Your weapon is gone, I'm afraid. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. The bits always help. I just realized that the bits are behind that. Let me actually move that forward. There we are. I think that will fix that. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, yeah, there are technically. Move this over here. See? There we go. Okay. So. Actually, let me check this a little bit more to the corner. There we are. Okay. All right. So. You cast heal on yourself. That is a good idea at this point in time. You are at 4 hit points out of 18. You cast heal on yourself. Go ahead and roll me a d8. A 4. It's nice and average. But you're going to get your wisdom modifier on that too. So you're back up to 12. Are you happy at 12? You have 2 more castings of heal. You were at 12 out of 18. Yeah. Well, you've gone for perfection. And perfection in this case means exactly the average. Alright, you draw the flower. And cast heal again. Alright, very good. There you go, you're back to full. All of your wounds close up. You are back to a full 18 hit points. And you are ready to continue your quest. Assuming that's what you want to do. I mean, this has been very dangerous. You are on the other side of the pit trap now. You are right here. Right here on the map. Oh, sorry. I realized you guys can't see my cursor. What am I doing? Wow, that's ridiculous. Okay. So, yeah, you're just south of the bend. I realize I've been pointing to things with my cursor, and I'm like, yeah, you're right here. You don't know where that is, so. All right, you move forward. Alright, so you get up to the, Aurori followers are trained in unarmed combat, so you do still have your fists. Alright, so you get up to the corner, and take a look to the right. Cheeseweave, thank you for the follow. Alright, so, let's see here. So, you, round a bend, and up ahead, the passageway opens up into, perception check. All right. So the passageway opens up into a chamber. Rather peculiar looking chamber. So, go ahead and move this over here. There we go. I'll get this right for next time. Having it over there was kind of a mess because that's where the notifications are. I forgot about that. Okay. So, what you see is a square chamber. The far side of this chamber has a dais, a couple raised steps. On the top of that dais is a black stone throne. It looks like it's made out of one giant piece of obsidian, the tops of which are like carved into these large spiked horns that kind of arc over the back of the throne. It's really dramatic, and it just looking at it fills you with kind of a sense of dread and sickness. Sitting in the throne, you can see a skeleton. It looks ancient. Its bones are bleached and yellowing and flaking and crisping. It is sitting in this throne, just kind of slumped to one side. It's the front of the throne, the arms of it that come out on either side, are large and black, and they look like they're carved to be like piles of skulls. But the ends of them look oddly missing. Like there's something that was supposed to be on the ends of the arms of the throne that just isn't there. They're just, it looks like somebody maybe broke something off or removed something. So that's what you see on the far side of the room. There are 2 doors leading out of this room. Okay, so right now you're still in the hallway. You're looking into the room. You cast Detect Magic, and you're low level, and this will tell you that there is magic in the area, but it's not going to quite tell you what the magic is or what it's doing. So you drink some water. That's a good call. You break out your water skin. Have some water. That's good. It's good to stay hydrated. Thank you, Hydration Bot. And you look into this room, and you casting Detect Magic, you get the sense of magic. You feel that there is magic emanating from inside this room. Probably the throne and the skeleton, but you can't honestly be sure. You detect some dagic. No, you do not detect any dagic, but you do detect magic. There's definitely something about that throne, but you can't be sure what. If you were more powerful, more experienced, if your Detect Magic was more powerful, you would be able to ascertain what type of magic it is. So, you're currently just standing in the hallway. There are 2 doors leading out of this room. There's a dais, there's a throne, there's a skeleton on the throne. You're still far away from it. You don't know what's going on kind of with it. You will have to get a little closer. Knowledge religion check. A 9 is decent for a cleric. You know, religion is the thing you are trained at the most. But even then, just looking at this, clearly it's something profane. You have no way of knowing if that thing is undead or not. There's really no way to tell. If it were scattered about, maybe that would help. It doesn't look like it has anything, but it's hard to say. There are definitely some religious symbols carved into the throne. Alright, so you advance towards the dais. Alright, so as you make your way into the room, you can feel this overwhelming sense of dread. And it begins to assault your very being. So, here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to need you to make me a will save. Now, you're a cleric. Will save is the thing you are by far the best at. You have a will save bonus of like +7. So go ahead and roll me a will save, Carbometric, as the waves of evil washing off this thing. Oh, that's not good. That is bad, Carbometric. That is not what you wanted. So, you're gonna love this. You're not. You're really not. So you panic. You are holding a flower. That's true. Yeah. No, it does not help. No, I'm sorry. So you are filled with panic, and you flee the room, back down the corridor towards the trap. Again. So, you go bolting back down the hallway, and you go running, trying to flee this place as best you can, looking over your shoulder. You can see the skeleton, like you were getting close. You could see the skeleton in its lap. It looks like there is a ring sitting in its lap, as if it was dropped there however many years ago. Now you go running towards this pit. You know the pit is there. You know exactly where it is. So I will give you an athletics check to jump it. So that's it. If you fail it, you're going back down the pit. Yeah, well, it's the body of the skeleton looks like it's wearing like what used to be like old ratty vestments. Hey! Well done, Carbometric. You jump over the pit, landing on the other side, and scamper up the stairs, heading back outside. Once you're outside, you're able to regain your composure. You can kind of you can kind of, put yourself back together. Yeah, it didn't look like it was wearing pants. It looks like it was wearing ancient vestments of some sort that were mostly ratty and rotted away up on its torso, but some of the stuff that was like around its waist, the old bits of rotting fabric, were still there. Okay, you dropped the flower on the trap. Look at you. Look at you trying to help future adventurers. Well done. Well done. Yeah, I see what you're doing there. I like the cut of your jib. Okay, so you're back outside. You have kind of regained your senses, but you're not really sure what to do now. That skeleton is terrifying. You're not sure if it will cause you more fear or more panic if you go back in there. Yeah, I mean, it looked like the ring was there. You could just you could just go take it. You could probably just pick it right up. Be fine. I appreciate that everyone is kind of commenting the same thing, that future adventurers will just end up dying to the now flower pit trap. So, Carbonmetric, what's your plan? Do you want to go back into the dungeon, or are you heading back to town? That's fair. Alright, you spend a little bit of time. You regain your composure. You have one heal left after all, but no weapon. Your weapon's gone. Okay, you go back downstairs and take a leap over that trap. Alright, you're heading back down. You know that you have to do this. You can't disappoint the Baron. You leap right across the pit, skirt the corner, turn it, head back into the room with the skeleton. You're like, I must face my fear. And you walk back into the room. The fear, the waves of fear wash back over you. You can feel them emanating from the throne in waves. They make you sick to your stomach. Dipp, give me another will save. Dipp has finally become skilled at jumping. We're not worried about that anymore. He's a master at it. A 17. Dipp, without even a moment of hesitation, walks right into the room. The fear washes over you and passes through you, and only you remain. So, the skeleton is there. It's sitting on the throne. Its arms are just kind of draped over the sides. Sitting in its lap, kind of on the top of this kind of ruined bit of, like, black vestment. You can see this ring. Looks like an old, chunky ring. Running kick into the skeleton. Okay, so. Alright. Yeah. So, you go running up and kick the skeleton. And its bones, like, you connect, but it doesn't appear to have much of an effect. The bones kind of shatter and clatter, but when you hit it, all of a sudden, like, the moment it hits and it kind of shatters and clatters, all of a sudden it snaps back into place and looks at you with just black, burning eyes. They pierce you. They like, there are waves of evil washing out of this thing. And I'm going to need you to make me a fortitude save. Good luck. No! Alright. So, this thing stares at you, blackness washing out of its eyes. You can feel, just like this moment. There's this moment. And for half a second, you feel at peace. You feel calm. And then you look back, and behind you, you see your body. And it is crumbling to the ground, collapsing, staring up towards the ceiling with eyes that no longer see. Turning around, your moment of serenity, your moment of peace is shattered as you look into the eyes of the Bone King, and you are drawn into him. And that is going to be the end of your adventure. So, Carbon Metric, congratulations. I am going to mark Dipp Glomp. I'm going to mark that he died in room 2. Died in room 2 to the Bone King. Yeah, that's gonna happen. It's unfortunate. But look at it this way, Carbon Metric. Thank you for the cheers, everybody. I do appreciate it. Look at it this way, Carbon Metric. Your body is now my first skeletal minion. So the next person who shows up there gets to fight you. Alright. Well, that is that. No, that's the worst part. His grave isn't even adorned with the flower. The flower's back in the hallway. I'm also going to make a note. Flower on... There we go. Well done. Well done. Yeah, look at it this way, Carbon. You were the first to experience this. So, you know, I mean, somebody had to go first. It is a legacy game, you are correct. There are going to be changes over time. Alright.